Welcome to Sidebar, where you vote on the internet's biggest buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to take the blame for neglecting my 2-year-old niece? I, Clinty, am the type who prefer to live in my own world most of the times unless working or asked to be social, and usually spend my weekends alone in my room with doors and windows closed, headphone overhead, and either watch drama or play games. I live with my parents and sister, 23, who is a single mother. For now, that is complicated of a 2-year-old. I woke up at 1 p.m. on Sunday after binging a series of movies the previous night, cleaned myself, ate something, and went back to my room. At around 4 p.m. my sister stormed into my room and screamed at me. I was confused at first, but then understood that she had left my niece in the house and I was supposed to babysit her. I don't mind babysitting, but I didn't remember her telling me anything about babysitting the previous day. She told me to check my phone, and there was a text previous night from her telling me that she would be out next morning and asked me to feed and look after my niece till afternoon. I missed it. I honestly did not know that the baby was in the house and assumed that nobody was home. My niece had been hungry and must have been crying for a very long time, though I did not hear anything. Sold herself and was rather miserable. My sister kept yelling at me till she got into tears, calling me unreliable, useless, waste of space, and some vulgarities, etc., which might be true, but I don't really care. I responded that she should also be ashamed of herself for leaving her baby to someone as unreliable as me without even bothering to confirm that I have received her message. She is the mother and primary caretaker, not me, and if anything, she is the one neglecting her child. My sister cried harder, left my room, and hasn't talked to me since. For the peace of the family, my parents have been urging me to apologize to my sister for being harsh on my words and pushing blame to her. I can apologize if that is what they wanted, but I doubt she would forgive me. I think I was just stating the truth though. Am I the butthole? Is OP a butthole? Here is what Reddit thinks. If OP had confirmed that she'll look after her and then forgot, then that would have been a huge butt move from THOP. But this was not her responsibility. Carelessness from the mother's side. Her sis, not the butthole. Am I the butthole for refusing to sign a document my late dad's wife is pressuring me to? My father passed away 3 years ago from lung cancer, which spread to his brain toward the end. It was an awful time for us and I miss him terribly. My mom died when I was 15, and when she died, her life insurance/death and service benefit paid out, and it paid off the rest of the mortgage on the house. Due to my dad being, at that time, an aggressive alcoholic, I moved out when I was 16. We still maintained a rocky relationship, and the later years were much better, and we were very close. I loved him so much despite the bad stuff. A couple of years later, he met his GF. Eventually, they got married around 2015. I never totally got on with her. Nothing in common and hard to relate with, but my dad was happy, and we had a polite relationship as I wanted my dad to have a companion. I've never considered her a stepmom. Anyway, after he died, I found out that his will had been changed 2 weeks before he passed, whilst he had a large brain tumor without my knowledge. I'm one of the executors, so was quite surprised I wasn't told, which meant the sale of my parents' home would go from being split 3 ways to her getting half and my brother and I the other half to split. We were not happy with how this went down, but we have accepted the change to the will and moved on. She has now decided she wants to sell because she wants to move. She mentioned she wanted to get some work done on the house to increase the sale price, and I emailed her saying not to spend much as it wasn't worth it and it was unnecessary. She invited me over a few weeks ago to see the work and to give me some documents. When I got home, I looked at the document she wanted me to sign, agreeing to deduct nearly $16,000 from the sale of the house to pay herself back for the work. Some of it was done ages ago and clearly for her living comfort, and other paperwork only gave quotes for work, not actual receipts or invoices. The terms of the will are that she could live there until her death, but she is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance as well as bills. She has lived there for 14 years rent-free with my dad and 3 years without him. My friends, family, and I think is an absolute take to ask us for this money, considering it is our family home, which not only did both of our parents have to die for her to get, but is our only inheritance from our parents. She is now pressuring me to agree to this, and I am not happy. I am being bullied by her to sign. She wrote the document, not a solicitor, and no solicitor has been involved from her end about this. She has now told me she will withdraw the property from the market if I don't agree, which honestly, even though I am struggling financially and need to pay off debt, I don't care about, because if she lived there until she died, then the house will just go to me and my brother, and her adult kids won't benefit from my parents. So am I the butthole for protecting what's left of mine and my brother's inheritance? Is the poster a butthole or not? Reddit says, not the butthole. Don't sign that. She wants to take advantage of you. Am I the butthole for giving my deceased son's college fund to his best friend instead of my nephew? This has been causing a conflict with my entire family, and they think that I'm being selfish and unreasonable. Let me explain first. I am 39, lost my son in 2019 due to a chronic heart condition. He was 15 years old. It was devastating and I just couldn't take it, especially when my family did little to nothing to support me during these difficult times. They didn't bring my son meals when he was at the hospital. They didn't let me go home and rest even for a few hours. They didn't take care of other things while I had a lot to deal with. I wasn't offered any help, just words. They just talk but do nothing. Despite the struggle, I've created an account for my son's college fund and kept putting whatever I could get at the time, and me and my son would talk about that a lot. He was depressed but always believed that he was going to get better and continue his education and attend college. I started saving money to keep him motivated and to make him feel like he could be like any other kid with hopes for a good future. He had a very close friend that's about the same age as him. They were friends for 5 years, and I can't express how his presence in my son's life helped him through the worst days. Sometimes his friend would spend the night with us and try to get my son to do activities and lighten up his mood all the time. To be frank, his friend was closer to him than his own family. He never stopped visiting and asking how I'm doing after my son's death. He'd show me handmade projects he made for my son and as a way to remember him, and we'd sometimes just sit and talk together or cry together. Last week, while I was with my family, my sister asked me what I was going to do with my son's college money. I didn't want to mention this, but since she asked, I told her that I will be giving the money to my son's friend. She barely even recognized his friend and was confused and said that my nephew deserves this money since he's family. My mom agreed that I was thinking straight and that I should help the people close to me, family, and that my nephew has a right to go to college, and I was wrong for giving this opportunity away to someone else. I didn't know what to say. They kept pointing out that I was making a mistake and how my nephew will resent me if he finds out. Thing is, my nephew wasn't close to my son. I don't even know why he'd be bothered. My sister went on about not being able to afford my nephew's college. I told her this was my decision and I felt more comfortable that way. She started lashing out, constantly texting me, constantly wanting to talk to me, and ending up arguing. When I snapped, she had my mom calling me, basically guilt-tripping me and telling me I'm wrong and that I needed to think about this. It's just too much pressure and I'm feeling lost and unable to figure out how to deal with this. Is the poster a butthole or not? Reddit says, not the butthole. Ask her what her plan was for her son's college if yours hadn't died, and then tell her to do that. You aren't obligated to do anything whatsoever with that money that you don't want to do. Am I the butthole for not staying at the hotel my friend reserved? So my best friend is having a destination wedding at the end of April at a very expensive hotel in Florida. Very shiny, pricey wedding. I am a bridesmaid. She had originally told me that they were going to be taking a look at how COVID-19 is closer to the wedding and would decide if they were going to cancel/reschedule then, which sounds fair. She texted me asking if I had booked the hotel for the wedding yet. I responded no, as I was waiting to hear the final call on whether or not the wedding was happening. Really hoping it was happening, as realistically it probably won't be safe to have a 150-person wedding by then, and I feel immensely pressured to not back out. Anyways, she said they were going forward with the wedding regardless of COVID. She told me that I need to book a room at their hotel under their room block because not enough people have been booked, and sent me the link. Now, we had not discussed the hotel prior. I was prepared to pay for my own flight and hotel to go to the wedding, until I saw the price. The cheapest room option is $649 per night! Clarification from original post. The hotel typically goes for till to $850 per night, so this is actually discounted. Some people suggested she might be upcharging me. This is unholy. I had no idea the hotel would cost that much, as we hadn't discussed accommodations before. So I texted her and profusely apologized, but I couldn't afford to stay at that hotel. I found a hotel literally one block away for $180 per night. So I asked if it was okay that I stay there. She was not having it. She told me absolutely not. I'm in the bridal party and had to stay at the hotel she picked. I asked if there were any bridesmaids, I don't know them well, that would be willing to group up and share a room. She said no. Everybody needs their own room so that they use all of the blocked rooms. Apparently nobody is booking there. I apologized again and said I just couldn't afford it, especially with the flights. She told me I was being a bad friend and that I should have never agreed to be a bridesmaid if I wasn't willing to sacrifice for her special day. Was I an idiot for not backing out when I saw that their wedding was at an expensive hotel, and then requested to stay elsewhere? Has my wedding ignorance made me an inadvertent butthole? Or is it crazy to expect everyone to stay at a hotel that costs $649 per night without checking with them first? Is OP a butthole? Here is what Reddit thinks. Repeat after me. She is not your friend. Cut your losses. Do the slow fade, or the abrupt one if you're feeling salty. We are all too old, tired, and out of F's to give. And the best part, you don't have to buy her a $50 kitchen implement they probably already own. Get yourself a weighted blanket instead and possibly a LN invention off the scene on TV aisle. Don't get the magical copper skillets. That old lady sits on a throne of lies, not the butthole. Finally, here's our headline story of the day. Am I the butthole for trying to force my stepson to move out of his bedroom so my daughter can move in? I have a daughter and a stepson who I will call Carly and Kyle. Carly 15 and Kyle 18. They have never been particularly close. Kyle tends to avoid myself and Carly like the plague. He hasn't bothered ever trying to build a relationship with us. I have been with Kyle's dad since the kids were 10 and 13. Due to some personal troubles which I'll not go into detail about, Kyle stays with his dad, though his mother will visit fairly regularly and they are in constant contact. She, of course, believes me to be the butthole in this situation. Kyle has stayed in the attic since I knew him. His parents had the attic converted into a proper bedroom for him when he was around 9 or 10. It is an absolutely stunning room. Plenty of space, nice furniture, and it is currently inhabited by several dressmaking dummies, as he is studying fashion at university. Lately, Carly has asked me if she can stay with me full-time. She and her dad are just not getting on and she'd prefer living with me. Her dad is absolutely fine with this as he was never really good with her in the first place. This means that the majority of Carly's things will be at our place. She has a lot more things than Kyle and would most likely need more space. That's why I thought it'd be a better idea to have Kyle move into Carly's slightly smaller bedroom downstairs and Carly can move into the attic bedroom. I even offered to pay for whatever Kyle wants for his new bedroom regarding wallpaper, paint, posters, etc. As I know it is a bit of a change for him. Kyle is not a fan of the idea and has been complaining about how he needs the space to work on his uni projects. I told him that he is more than welcome to use the dining room as we rarely ever use it and we can clean out one of the storage cupboards to store the dummies in. Kyle's partner is also not a fan of this, though I'm almost 100% sure that this is just because in the attic bedroom, they can do what teenagers do without interruption. I think that Kyle is being a bit over dramatic about this as I'm not kicking him out into the street, just into a smaller bedroom, which I have offered to decorate for him. His father is not completely sold on the idea but is slowly coming around. He also thinks that Kyle is being a bit dramatic regarding the room situation. Kyle's mother and girlfriend, and of course Kyle himself, all think that I'm being a butthole. Am I the butthole? Is the poster a butthole or not? Reddit says, you're the butthole. You can't kick him out cause want your daughter to have his room. You give her what's available. Such a terrible thing you're trying to do. Now it's your time to vote on the buttholeness of the headline story. Is the poster a butthole? Let us hear your thoughts. Go to the pinned comment under this video. Please hit the thumbs up on the reply of YDA. You are the butthole if you think the OP could have been nicer. Or press thumbs up on the reply saying NTA. Not the butthole if you are on the same side as OP. Feel free to leave your opinion and reason why you voted for the option you did in the comments section. And join the discussion. For more buttholes, subscribe to Sidebar.